Oh, Jamar Chase with the dive. Because Garrett Wilson's wide open. Garrett Wilson, touchdown Barrett. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the video in the World of Juice channel, and welcome back to another rebuild here on Madden 24. That is right. Today we are doing another user suggestion. Another commenter has given me a suggested team to take on, and we are going to be attempting to do it. Today, it is the 2017 Atlanta Falcons. Now, I know the Falcons were just in the Super Bowl this previous season in 2016, but I think we all know what happened in that game. So, we're going to try to save this Atlanta Falcons squad before they blow it all up and everybody gets old and retires and Dan Quinn leaves for another job, which I think, doesn't he go from head coach of the Falcons to coordinator for the Cowboys? Or is there something in between that? I can't remember. I don't know. I know that he goes from Seattle defensive coordinator to Atlanta head coach, and then something in the middle possibly, or it could just be straight up to Dallas as the defense coordinator. I'm not 100% sure. But we're going to keep him around. We're going to keep the squad, Matt Ryan, Julio Jones, all the boys, and we're going to try to get these boys a ring because, honestly, they probably deserve one. If we're being totally honest, the Patriots, I do love that squad, and I love that championship game, and it had me going in the first three quarters. It had me going 28-3. Woo, that was quite the moment. That was quite the scene here in the Juice household. But then the Patriots start that comeback, you tie it up, you get to overtime, and you score the overtime touchdown with, I think it was it Sony Michel that scores the overtime touchdown? No, it couldn't have been Sony Michel. Who was it that scored the overtime touchdown? Was it James White? Does James White score the touchdown? I think James White might have scored the touchdown. I don't remember exactly who scored the overtime game-winning touchdown, but whoever it was, I'm glad they did it because it gets the Patriots another Super Bowl. It connects the dynasty, or it continues the second dynasty because obviously they beat Seattle in 2014, they beat the Falcons in 2016, they go on and beat the Rams in 2018. The second dynasty of the Patriots era, and I'm a happy man. But today we're going to alter that history. We've already done it with the Philadelphia Eagles. Now we got to go and help the Atlanta Falcons, get them a championship that honestly the whole city of Atlanta deserves, and especially this Falcons squad. Matt Ryan, Julio Jones, all the boys. Got to get them a title. So if you go to enjoy, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, join the Juice Club. If you have any suggestions for teams that I can rebuild in any era that I have, 2017, 2018, 2015, 2016, 1994, modern day, obviously. Unfortunately, I do have 2007, 2008, but I don't think that mod's going to be working anymore, so that one kind of has to go off the table. I do have 2012, 2013. We'll have to see if that one does get re-upped and updated after this most recent Madden title update. Oh, and by the way, we don't even have to use mods, really. You could just ask for a rebuild on Madden 20. I have the game. You could ask for an upgrade or a rebuild on Madden 19. I have the games. I've got all the games from Madden 17 to Madden 24. So if you want to see an actual rebuild on the specific game instead of just using a mod on Madden 24, let me know, and we can take that on as well. So without further ado, it's time to go and fix this Atlanta Falcons squad, save them from crumbling and collapsing into irrelevancy, and get them a Super Bowl title. Here is the squad that we are working with. The 2017 Falcons, coming off of that depressing Super Bowl choke is the best way to say it. And we've got Matt Ryan on the team, 32 years old, star development quarterback, 85 overall. He's got to be our quarterback. The whole point of this rebuild is to win a title for Matt Ryan and Julio Jones. Those are the two guys that deserve it the most. They are the two best players on the team, although you got two decent running backs in Devonta Freeman and Tevin Coleman. But those are the two lifebloods of this offense. On defense, you've got guys like Devondre Campbell, Deion Jones becoming a really good player. Keanu Neal is very highly rated and an X factor. Vic Beasley, you've got Grady Jarrett down here who's coming into his own now. Adrian Claiborne. I mean, there's a lot of good talent on this Falcons roster. But the whole point of this rebuild is to get titles, get a title for Julio Jones and Matt Ryan. So we got to do that. He's got to be our quarterback, and he's got to be our receiver, our number one receiver. Well, he doesn't have to be our number one receiver, but he's got to be our receiver for this rebuild. That's the only two things that we have to continue. Like, we could change this entire offense, this entire defense if I wanted to. I probably won't. But if I wanted to, I could change this entire team around. Whole new players every single position, except for quarterback and wide receiver, because those two guys have to be here. I would like to keep the team pretty much the same, because the whole point is to get a title for all these guys that deserve it, that didn't get it when they choked in the Super Bowl against the Patriots. But these two guys for sure need to get one. So as far as upgrading positions, we probably need to add at least one or two more receivers. I mean, Mohamed Sanu and Taylor Gabriel are pretty decent receivers, but we probably need to add another one that has at least a development trait. So we'll look for the 2018-2019 drafts. We'll see if we can find anything there. We don't really need a running back. I mean, Freeman and Coleman can handle it for this entire duration of the rebuild. Offensive line, Alex Mack is 31, so we'll see how he regresses. Jake Matthews is 25, so he should be our one of our tackles, depending on if he's left or right. He should be one of our tackles for the entire rebuild. Andy Levitre is fine, but he's normal development in 31, so he's probably going to need to get moved on from. Same thing with Schweitzer. Schrader is 29, star development, only an 83. He's probably going to have to get moved on. So basically, Alex Mack and Jake Matthews are pretty much the only ones that are safe. And Alex Mack's only safe because he's a higher overall. So that's what the offensive plan is looking like. Tight end, Austin Hooper, I'm fine with having him as the tight end. And then on defense, we probably need to find a new pass rusher to go alongside the combination of Dontari Poe and Grady Jarrett and Tack McKinley. Claiborne's a good player. He's just 29 years old, no development trait, 72 overall. He's not going to do anything in Madden. So we need to replace him there. The linebacking core, honestly, is pretty good. We maybe need to get another middle linebacker, too, to replace Duke Riley. But, I mean, Duke Riley could develop. He didn't in real life, but he could develop in this. He's got the development trait. He's already a 77. Maybe he turns into something. Keanu Neal's fine at safety. We probably need to add one more corner to the team. And then we need to probably add another free safety. So there's honestly not that much that we have to do to this Falcons roster, which is what I like. I like when you don't have to do too much overhauling to a team to make them a Super Bowl contender. We're honestly probably a Super Bowl contender already. And this is what the 2018 roster or 2018 draft class looks like. We don't need to focus at quarterback because we're already good. Running back, don't need to focus on a running back, even though maybe we could bring in one down the board. But if I'm not going to bring in one at the top, I'm probably not going to go down the board. We have two good ones. And then we've got receivers. This is where we could add a big one like DJ Moore, Calvin Ridley. I mean, they obviously go for Calvin Ridley in real life, but getting one or even two of them would be really, really cool. Cortland Sutton I'll add to the list as well. I will also add James Washington just for the fun of it. We know that he's a superstar development, but he's a low overall. There's not too many wide receivers that are going to help the team, so we could just go for those top ones. And then as far as tight ends go, I'll put Gesicki, Goddard, obviously Mark Andrews, and then Dalton Schultz on there. Those will probably be the only tight ends. If we could grab Mark Andrews, that'd be awesome. We'll have to wait and see what happens, where we're picking and all that kind of stuff, but that'd be awesome to get him. And then left tackle, I'll put Colton Miller on there. Left guard, we'll put Wyatt Teller on there. Center, Frank Ragnow. Right guard, obviously both of these guys, Quentin Nelson, Braden Smith. If we could grab Quentin Nelson, fantastic. I've gotten him in previous rebuilds. Fantastic. We need to get him. Or it'd be awesome to get him. Brian O'Neill, Orlando Brown Jr., two right tackles that could be on the team. And then defensive line, I'll put Marcus Davenport on there, and I will put John Franklin Myers on that list. They could be potential running mates. Bradley Chubb, we know Bradley Chubb insanely good in these simulations. If he falls to us, it'd be awesome. Who else is on this board? Probably nobody else in this position. D tackles, Vita Vea, Deron Payne, absolutely. BJ Hill even in round 3 to 4. Harrison Phillips, I could even see as a guy we go after. That would be a possibility. Left outside linebackers, we'll put Roquan Smith, Darius Leonard, Fred Warner. All could be possible middle linebacker replacements for Duke Riley. Then we go to middle linebackers, Van Der Esch, Tremaine Edmonds. Outside linebacker, Rashawn Evans, Harold Landry, Chenna Nwosu. Even Juwan Bentley could be good. And then corners. I'm going to put all the boys on here. We've gotten Jay Alexander before. We've gotten Denzel Ward before. We'll just have to see how it plays out. There's a lot of top guys that I would like, and we don't have the draft picks to be able to get all of them. So, Carlton Davis. Who else do we want on here? Avonte Maddox, probably. He's a solid one. Teron Johnson. Is it Taron Johnson or Teron Johnson? I think it's Teron, but I've heard it both ways. J.C. Jackson, Trey Flowers. We know J.C. Jackson's a pretty good player. Star development, all that kind of stuff. And then we've got safeties, where we do need a free safety, so this could be the Minkah. I don't think I've ever drafted Minkah Fitzpatrick in one of these rebuilds, so maybe we do get Minkah this time. Or Jesse Bates would be cool, too. Justin Reed, Troy Apke, because he's a what? Jordan Whitehead. Strong safety, Derwin James, Terrell Edmonds, Ronnie Harrison, Kaiser White, Foyesada Luakan. Don't need a strong safety, but it wouldn't hurt to get Derwin James. I mean, are you kidding me? It's Derwin James. And then that is going to be our board for year number 1, 2018. I'm not sure where we're going to go. Not sure what the plan is. I need to make sure that our scout is... What's our scout looking like? Our number 1 scout, our national scout, is wide receiver, interior offensive line. I don't hate that. I don't really hate that. That's fine, but we probably don't need a wide receiver safety as our secondary scout, but who cares? Who cares? It'll all work out in the end. I'm going to simulate to the end of season 1, and we will go from there, see how the team does. I would assume we're going to be a playoff team, because this team just went to the Super Bowl in 2016, so I would assume we're going to make the playoffs at least. But I have no idea. I guess we could take a look at our draft pick capital just before we get going here, so we know kind of where we stand. We currently sit with the 8th overall pick. That's probably not going to be where we end with. But we have a 1, a 2, a 3, 2 4s, a 5, 2 6s, and no 7s here in the 2018 NFL Draft, because this is the these are the 2024 draft picks. They didn't go back. The mod doesn't change the draft picks. So the Bears have all their draft picks from the Caleb Bryce Young trade, and so on and so on. So we've got the Jacksonville stuff from the Calvin Ridley trade. So here we are at the week 1. We're going to simulate to the end of the season and see how Matty Ice, Julio Jones, and this Falcons team does in response to them choking a 28-3 lead. Season 1 is wrapped up, and I guess I was wrong. We finished 9-8 and miss out on the playoffs. I thought that we would at least make the playoffs since we just went to the Super Bowl, but maybe we're living on that Super Bowl high. Maybe we got a little bit of that fatigue, and now we're dropping down a little. I don't know what happened, but this team misses out in the playoffs. 4,300 yards, 29 touchdowns, 9 picks for Matt Ryan. That's a good season from a veteran quarterback who's very productive, throwing a lot of touchdowns, throwing a lot of yards. Devonta Freeman, 1,400 yards and 7 touchdowns. Coleman had 11 touchdowns with 480 yards. And then Julio Jones, as you would expect, 1,100 yards, 3 touchdowns. Only 3 touchdowns, though? That's a little not what you would expect. Gabriel had 5 touchdowns. Freeman had 6. So did Coleman. So it looks like Matt Ryan was throwing to the running backs a lot to get touchdowns in the red zone. Whatever, at least Julio got over 1,000 yards. Mohamed Sanu almost got over 1,000 yards with 957. What do we have in terms of the defense? We've got ourselves 176 tackles from Deion Jones, 141 for Duke Riley. Maybe we don't have to replace him. 116 from Campbell, 112 for Trufant, 105 for Neal, 94 for Allen, 93 for Beasley. Tackle for loss leader was the young Grady Jarrett with 21. Campbell at 16, 10 for Dontari Poe. And the sack leader was Devondre Campbell, 7.5. Grady Jarrett had 7. Beasley had 4.5. So did Tack McKinley. And Poe had 2.5. The pick leader pick was Robert Alford. Wow. He had 5. Everybody else had 1. 5 picks for Robert Alford is pretty impressive. And we will move to the offseason because we don't have anything to play for. So we'll sim to the Super Bowl. We don't have a ton of money. I think we have, as of right now, we have like $30 million. And there was one big signing that we had to decide about. I didn't sign him yet. It's Dontari Poe. His contract is up. And it's Packers actually versus the Raiders in the Super Bowl, which is a little strange. We'll see who wins it, though. But Dontari Poe's contract is up, and I don't know if we should pay it. When I looked in on it last, he was super interested in coming back. But I don't know if we're super interested in bringing him back because we do have Grady Jarrett who's ready to take that next step. Packers win the Super Bowl, by the way. 31-10. Rodgers gets MVP. Stafford wins MVP of the league. Kareem Hunt and Aaron Donald are the players of the year, and Kareem Hunt wins Rookie of the Year. Offensive Rookie of the Year for the Chiefs. TJ Watt gets Defensive Rookie of the Year. But now with all the retirements and all the salary cap moving around, we have $42.9 million to work with, which is still not like an amazing amount of money, but it probably would be enough to bring back Dontari Poe, even though he was asking for a lot of money. I feel like it was a little bit unnecessary how much money he was asking for. We will accept the option on Tevin Coleman. And he's lowered it slightly. He was at like $84 million for his total salary, but now he's dropped it down to $67.3. So that's a little bit more manageable. I was looking through the rest of these guys. I don't think I'm going to re-sign any of them. We have $47 million. Do I spend it on a veteran Dontari Poe, or do we just let Grady Jarrett take over? I think what we do is we test the waters on a possible trade for Dontari Poe. Maybe we could get some sort of value for him instead of just letting him walk in free agency. But first, we need to spend the good dollar and buy all of this crap so that I can possibly trade up if I need to. So we'll buy you, buy you, bada bing, bada bang, buy all the good stuff. There we go. Fully max that out, and we'll spend the first one on that as well. So, okay, so we've got all the good stuff for trading with draft picks. Now, if I need to trade up in the draft, I can pretty easily do it. So let's toss Dontari Poe around. He's a veteran. He's a very good player, but he's a little bit older, 28 years old. Let's toss him around the old woodshed, see what we can get for him. Only 6th round picks and 5th round picks for Dontari Poe is not what I would have expected, but I'm not totally shocked by it. We have pick 18 in the first round. We could get pick 16. We could trade up 2 spots plus Dontari Poe. I don't think that's super valuable. Nobody's really willing to give me anything crazy. Is there a way that I could get not just a draft pick, but is there a way that I could get a player? I don't usually trade for actual players in these rebuilds. Maybe I should do something like that for this one. Maybe there's a possibility that we could go for like a young pass rusher. DeMarcus Lawrence is 26, but he's a little bit too expensive for my taste. Eric Armstead. Ooh, that could probably work, actually. Eric Armstead we'll keep in mind. Muhammad Wilkerson, but he's the same age as Poe, so it's probably not going to be the smartest idea. Kenny Clark. Okay, I could see Kenny Clark also as a possibility. We're not going to be able to get Donald. Cam Jordan, Michael Bennett, Cam Hayward. I kind of like the what was his name? Where was he at? I kind of like the Kenny Clark idea. Although he's probably more of a D tackle than he is an edge rusher. He's probably not an end. But he is, I would assume, attainable. I would probably go for Eric Armstead, but same deal. He's probably more of a tackle too. We could go for Yannick Ngakoue. We've seen Yannick Ngakoue develop very crazily. I'm thinking either Ngakoue or Kenny Clark. The Packers do need a D tackle. Do the Jaguars need a D tackle? Not on their top 5 team needs. So it would make sense to send Dontari Poe to Green Bay because their D tackle right now is Montravius Adams. I mean, you could just start Kenny Clark at D tackle. It's possible. It's a higher overall. It is a younger player, but you just won the Super Bowl, so you're probably not caring about a younger player or an older player. Okay, that's not going to go through. But that does go through. Okay, I guess I overestimated that. So we bring in Kenny Clark for Dontari Poe straight up. I think that's a win. We'll have to wait and see how Kenny Clark develops. But I think that's a little bit of a win. He will now be adjusted in the lineup. He will now play on the left side with Tack McKinley, Grady Jarrett in the middle. Where is Duke Riley? Where did he go? Did Duke Riley just... Oh, I completely he's right in front of my face as an X Factor. I didn't expect him to be an X Factor, but okay, so we don't need Duke Riley anymore, or we don't need to worry about Duke Riley because he's going to be an X Factor player. Although Vic Beasley kind of got pushed aside. I guess we could move Vic Beasley down and take over the Takk McKinley spot. What happens if I move him to right end? Does he go up or down? Because that could be our solution there. If I move Vic Beasley to right end, does he go up in overall or down? And he goes up to an 80 overall. Perfect. So our defensive line is figured out. All we need to do is get... And Robert Alford went up to a superstar development. So all we need to do is get an extra middle linebacker. We need to get a free safety and maybe one extra corner, and then the defense is done. On offense, we need to figure out the interior of the interior of the offensive line with the right and left guard and possibly the right tackle. We need to add another receiver, possibly two, and then the offense is pretty much done. So there's a few things that we need to do, but for the most part, we're a good team. And I'm pretty sure that was the last player that we needed to talk about in negotiations. And yeah, we don't need to bring back Atiba Rubin, nothing like that. So let's go into free agency with the little money that we have. We have like $45 million. We'll see who's there. Maybe somebody's there that fits what the team needs that we have, and maybe we can bring somebody in. So the top players: Jermaine Johnson. I talked about bringing in a corner. We don't need a quarterback. We don't need a running back. We do need a receiver, but there's not really anybody that I want. Unfortunately. That's okay. Tight end. Ooh, Tyler Eifert. Okay. I could see Tyler Eifert coming to Atlanta. Then we wouldn't have to worry about Mark Andrews. Offensive guards are just not really better than what we have. Center, right guard, right tackles. A 22-year-old or 24-year-old at 77 overall. Adam Bisnawati. I don't know if I've ever heard that name ever pronounced or ever even spoken on live television before. I don't know who this is, but he's a 77 overall, and I'm tempted to sign him, but he's not higher than the guys that we have. J.J. Watt. J.J. Watt has made it to free agency. He's only 29. That's a little disrespectful being a 75 overall. There's no middle linebackers that I like. The only other corner that I think would be good would be Tremaine Johnson, because I doubt there's anybody else down here. And then free safety, there's not really anybody. Nah. I mean, maybe Andrew Adams, maybe. Do we have enough money to offer Tremaine Johnson? Because I think he could help out the squad. He could be that extra corner that I was talking about. $14 million. He's probably not going to accept that, but we'll keep it. We'll keep the offer on there just in case. I kind of want to offer J.J. Watt. It wouldn't be smart, but I kind of want to offer J.J. Watt. I mean, it's J.J. Watt. How many times are you going to have the opportunity to sign J.J. Watt to your roster? So we don't have a lot of money, but we're going to offer these three players and see what they say. Only J.J. Watt accepted. Who was the... Tremaine Johnson was the one. I didn't think he was going to sign anyway. And we got Tyler Eifert as well. So J.J. Watt and Tyler Eifert have signed to the team. Maybe the J.J. Watt one was a little unnecessary, but I mean, it's J.J. Watt. He's one of the best of all time. He's a Hall of Famer. Why not bring in J.J. Watt when you have the opportunity? So now what we could do is we could move to a 4-3 so we don't have to worry about linebacker anymore, and then have Kenny Clark play D-tackle with Grady Jarrett, and then have J.J. Watt be... Although he's not the high enough overall. Why do they got to do J.J. Watt dirty like that? It's only 2017. He goes on to play, what, 4 more years in real life? at a pretty decently high level? Why they got to be disrespectful? But bringing in J.J. Watt and Tyler Eifert is a good sign. I don't think there's anybody else that I would want. Maybe we can go back to the corner. And yeah, there's not really anybody else that I think is going to work. Aaron Colvin's just a waste of money. So we're going to go to the draft with what we have. And I might possibly trade around if I deem somebody worthy of getting drafted. We need to get this offense line, and I think Quentin Nelson might be the guy. We need to figure out this offense line, and he's one of the best ones of all time. So when you have an opportunity, like the same thing with J.J. Watt, when you have an opportunity, you got to take it. So I think Quentin Nelson's probably our guy, although getting one of these receivers would be pretty fun. And I know that they do get Calvin Ridley in real life. Quentin Nelson will also put it on probably Wyatt Teller. We'll put it on Wyatt Teller as well. All right, so because he could be our left guard replacement. That's always possible. But mock draft number 5 is going to be crucial because we have, I think, what was it, pick 18? So we have pick 18. We need to know exactly who's going where and if we need to trade up or not. So Mark Andrews is actually a top 5 talent. Teller's a 2 to 3. Quentin Nelson's a top 5. No shocker there. Let's see. Who should we use these on? Probably B.J. Hill. We'll use one on Fred Warner, obviously. And then we'll use another one on Minka. Boom. There we go. Okay. So there's a couple options. How could we get 2 first-round picks? Because I kind of want Quentin Nelson and Minka Fitzpatrick. Baker's going to go 1 to the Niners. Interesting. Quentin Nelson's going to go top 6 to the Titans. I don't like that. Patriots going to get Josh Allen. Okay. We pick at 18. They have us taking Minka, which is not bad. I want Minka. But how do we come away with Minka and Quentin Nelson? How do we come away with Minka and Quentin Nelson? I don't think we can, but I'm going to try my best. I'm going to try my absolute hardest to get myself some Quentin Nelson. So let's go talk to the Titans and just throw the pick in there and see what they want. Keanu Neal, straight up. Or Deion Jones and Devondre Campbell. Or they want my first-round pick next year, my second-round pick next year, and my fourth-round pick this year. Oh, this one's a little bit more doable. They want 2026. That would be 2019. No, 2020. Because this is the 2018 draft. So this would be 2020 draft. I'm hoping that we're not really even caring about the 2020 draft at that point. I'm going to do this trade. Thank you, Tennessee, for giving me the 6th overall pick. All right, I didn't have to even do any swindling or anything like that. We got ourselves 2 first-round picks, and we can get our guys. So let's start drafting. Hopefully everything goes to plan. Number 1 pick in the NFL draft is Baker Mayfield. Then Roquan Smith. Then Bradley Chubb. Then Sam Darnold. Sorry, Baltimore. Then Jair Alexander. And now we are up to take ourselves a good old-fashioned right guard named Quentin Nelson, who's a Hall of Famer. Bada bing, bada boom. Quentin Nelson, welcome to Atlanta. Right guard position, checked off. Done. Finito. Figured out. Derwin James goes. Josh Allen to New England. Rashaan Evans. Calvin Ridley to Chicago. DJ Moore to Arizona. Denzel Ward to Chicago. Ooh, wow. Bears got a couple good picks. Darius Leonard to Shaq Leonard to the Bucks. Hayden Hurst to the Seattle Seahawks. Lamar Jackson's in Minnesota. Minnesota! Bengals get Will Hernandez, and Connor Williams is heading to Denver. Minka Fitzpatrick, consider yourself an Atlanta Falcon. Although Vita Vea is still on the board and so is Saquon Barkley. Very tempting, but we need a free safety more than we need those other positions. Minka Fitzpatrick, welcome to Atlanta. Boom! That's a huge one. That's a big first round, ladies and gentlemen. That's a big first round. Gesicki goes to Detroit. Saquon's headed to Miami. Vita Vea to the Chargers. Cortland Sutton. Dante Pettis. Dante Pettis won the first round. Deron Payne. Dante Jackson. I clicked the wrong button. Let's get to the second round here. Let's get to the good old-fashioned second round. All right, so Leighton Vander Esch does go off the board. Tremaine Edmonds is still there, which is probably my pick. But we need to take a look. So Mark Andrews is gone. That's why we kind of went with Tyler Eifert, because we kind of assumed he was going to be gone. But the rest of my options, there's still some good options out here, but I think the smartest move would be to get Tremaine Edmunds. We need a middle linebacker. Bang! Tremaine Edmunds to the squad. That's another middle linebacker figured out. We're figuring out these holes. We are plugging holes, and I am a master at plugging holes. So we are figuring out this entire team right off the bat. This is probably where we take a corner, and it's probably going to be Taron Johnson. Welcome to the team. Hidden development, Taron Johnson. 4th round is where we probably grab ourselves Wyatt Teller. I think we have 2 4th-round picks. No, oh no, we have 2 5th-round. We have 2 of something in this draft. Wyatt Teller's gone, so they did the job for me. So we'll take J.C. Jackson, I guess. I didn't think Wyatt Teller would get taken. I thought he'd be there, but that's 2 really good corners on the squad. Go to the 5th round and take somebody else, I guess. Who else is going to be on the board? Well, there's not many options, so I guess we'll take James Washington with this one. We know that he's superstar development, but he's going to be a low overall. All right, and then the 6th round, I don't even know if we should grab anybody in the 6th round. Should we just let the CPU handle this? I'll take a little peek at what's available. But I have a feeling we're just going to let the CPU handle this. I mean, we could grab Trey Flowers. There's a couple good special teamers like kicker and punter. But I think I'm just going to grab myself Trey Flowers. He's still available, so we might as well grab him here. Adds another corner to the team, and then we will simulate the rest of the draft picks. But we came away with quite the good draft. We got Quentin Nelson, Minkah Fitzpatrick, and Tremaine Edmunds in the first 3 picks. Those are much-needed positions, and we just figured them out right there. So Quentin Nelson's an 83, Fitzpatrick's a 77, Tremaine's a 66, Johnson's a 68, Jackson's a 76. I always forget that J.C. Jackson's a high overall like that. And then they took Wilkins, who was the final pick of our draft. So highest rated players in the class is obviously going to be Quentin Nelson and other people. He is the highest rated with Jair Alexander, Mark Andrews, Roquan Smith, Bradley Chubb, Derwin James, all the boys. You guys know the drill. We've been over this plenty of times. But the team looks a lot better now. We have a solidified right guard. We have a solidified free safety. Everything else will fall into place. Everything else will fall into place. Boom, Quentin Nelson jumps right in. James Washington will be fine for now. We do need to probably work on the offense or the wide receivers slightly. Matt Ryan is getting a little bit older and starting to regress. We got to win this championship soon. And then on defense, I'm going to start Tremaine Edmunds over Tripp just because of the development trait. And then, yeah, the corners look better now with J.C. Jackson in there. Defensive line looks really good. Everything looks amazing. This team's good to go. I'm going to simulate to the end of Season 2, and we will see if we can do better than 9-8 and missing out on the playoffs. We have had a resurgence in year number 2. We finished 9-8 in year 1, but this year, with a few adjustments, some draft picks, Kenny Clark coming in, Minkah Fitzpatrick, Quentin Nelson, the team has improved to 14-3. Not only 14-3, but the best record in the NFC and the 1 seed in the conference. It's a beautiful thing to see ourselves dominating like we have this season. Matt Ryan, fantastic year. 4,000 yards, 34 touchdowns, 6 picks. 72% completion percentage. Very, very solid season from a veteran quarterback who is performing above his skis at this point. 1,300 yards and 4 touchdowns for Devonta Freeman, and it looks like Tevin Coleman was a little bit of a touchdown merchant, little hawk, little stealer of touchdowns, 13 of them things. And Julio had a great year, 1,200 yards, 12 touchdowns. Gabriel, 855 and 2. Mohamed Sanu, 683 and 7. Maybe we don't need another receiver. Maybe these guys are going to be able to get it done. I have no idea. Defensively, 193 tackles for Deion Jones is crazy. 103 from Keanu Neal, 100 for Trufant, 88 for Allen, 87 for Riley. 16 tackles for loss for the new addition, Kenny Clark. 14 tackles for loss for Devondre Campbell. J.J. Watt had 12. 7 for Riley. Sack leader was J.J. Watt. Look at that. I bet all you guys clowned on me for wasting my money on J.J. Watt. 11.5 sacks. Production out the wazoo. 9.5 for Campbell, 9 for Riley, 6.5 for Clark, 3 for Jarrett, 3 for Jones. Jackson had 7 picks. Allen had 3. Neal had 2. Minka had 2. So did KZ. Alfred had 1. So, very good season from the boys. And now we go to play the Dallas Cowboys in the divisional round for a trip back to the NFC title game. And we get it done 39-6 as well. That's kind of crazy if we talk about it. That's kind of crazy. Do we have an opportunity to win the bowl? It is going to be Green Bay versus Atlanta, 1 versus 5. Steelers, Chiefs on the other side of things. I think we should be able to handle it, but, I mean, the Packers just won the Super Bowl last year. Who knows what's going to happen? It's going to be interesting, though. I know that. Packers and Falcons, Steelers and Chiefs. I mean, I think we can get it done. We're 14-3. We're the favorite on paper, but the Packers did win the Super Bowl. We beat them 35-25, and thankfully, we don't have to play the Chiefs. The Steelers got it done, but maybe that's worse. Maybe the Steelers are the better team. I don't know. Oh, I think they are. 15-2, Pittsburgh Steelers. But yeah, this is going to be quite the challenge. Okay, this is going to be quite the challenge. Steelers, Chiefs. This is the Triple Bs in full force. The 2018-2019 Super Bowl. Falcons, Steelers. Let's not choke this one away. Here we are in the bowl. Falcons, Steelers. The Steelers team is very good. They lead 7-0. We get 7-14. Now it's 7-17. We're putting up a lot of points. Oh my God, I can't even keep up. 24-14. End of half. The Steelers do nothing. 24-14. 31-14. Okay, I like that. 31-21. Into the fourth quarter. Steelers fighting back. 31-24. 38-24. I think it's ball game, ladies and gentlemen. I think your Atlanta Falcons are going to be world champions here pretty soon. Let me get in here and do one play. I just want to do one little play where I just heave it to Julio Jones before we snap this, or before we end this game. Let me just chuck Julio. I got hit on the throw. It's going to be knocked incomplete. Okay. Let me do a little. Oh, they still have Julio's long hair in this. I don't think he had the long hair back in 2017 when they played in the Super Bowl. But we'll end the game. I just wanted to throw it to Julio. All right, there it is. We've gotten Matt Ryan and Julio Jones, the Super Bowl that they arguably should have had, and that's even coming from a Patriots fan. They should have had that Super Bowl in 2016, 2017 when they choked it to the Patriots. But they didn't. I'm happy. And now Falcons fans can be happy because the boys have gotten it done. Julio gets a ring. Matt Ryan gets a ring. Basically, the entire team that was from last season gets a ring. We didn't lose anybody. I don't think we lost anybody. That was super important. But also, we give Minka Fitzpatrick a championship. We give Tyler Eifert a championship. Who else? Quentin Nelson gets a championship. Basically everybody. I don't think there's a single person on this team that had a ring before this. Let me think. Who's on this team? Desmond Trufant. Deion Jones. Julio. None of the offensive linemen. Tyler Eifert didn't have one. None of the receivers did. I mean, JC does because he's on the Patriots, but this is before he was on the Patriots because we took him from them in the draft. So he never got that. He was never on any of those Patriot teams. That didn't happen. So he doesn't have any. So I think Kenny Clark technically does have one because he was on that Packer team that just won it last year. So everyone on the team got their very first championship except for Kenny Clark, who got his second. And back-to-back, by the way. Tevin Coleman wins Super Bowl MVP, and the Falcons get their first championship. Matt Stafford gets MVP of the league again. We get Coach of the Year. Kareem Hunt gets Offensive Player of the Year again. Telvin Smith is Defensive Player of the Year. Josh Allen, quarterback for the Patriots, gets himself Offensive Rookie of the Year. And Breeland Speaks is the Defensive Rookie of the Year for the Raiders. We will go one more year to try to defend our championship and see what happens there. But, I mean, we've done it. We've completed the rebuild. We got Julio Jones. We got Matt Ryan. The championships that they ever so needed for their careers, although Julio's a Hall of Famer regardless of if he got a championship. Matt Ryan probably is a Hall of Famer because of the numbers that he put up, but it's debatable on that one. Julio Jones is, without a doubt, a Hall of Famer. But the Matt Ryan one is a little bit more debatable. These are some big questions, though. Grady Jarrett needs $67 million to come back. Vic Beasley needs $112 million to return. Jake Matthews needs $82. It looks like we're not going to be returning to the Super Bowl because we've got to pay some fat contracts to some very important players. Grady Jarrett, I think, needs to be the first priority. So he wants to be here. So we shouldn't have to pay too much more than what he's asking for. If I bump this up to 8.5, he's going to come back. So we have $36 million. I think next up we need to get Jake Matthews back. So he wants to be here as well. So if I bump that up slightly, he's going to come back. We have $18 million, and that's not anywhere near enough to get Vic Beasley back. Unless, he wants to be here, so maybe if we just raise it up to a 7-year contract and then drop the bonus down to 8.5 and the salary down to 12.5, can we afford him? We don't have the money to. What about if I drop it down to 10.5? We can't afford him. What about if I drop the salary down to 8 and the bonus down to 8 and the salary down to 9? He's not going to come back. We don't have the money to offer Vic Beasley, but we could franchise tag him for $17.5 million, which we will do, and that is everybody back. So we do get everybody back for one more run. You know what we told him? We told him, hey, Vic, come here. We're going to bring you back on the franchise tag for one final run at a repeat. And he said, yeah, coach, I'm coming back. He said that. That's what he said to me. You didn't hear it. He said that to me. So everybody's back for one final ride. We have literally no money. We can't even afford to pay our water bill. Actually, we have 16.7. Who retired? Somebody retired. Drew Brees retired. Atlanta Falcons. We didn't have anybody retire. I guess we just freed up that much money in the people that left. So $16.7 million is enough to maybe bring in a free agent. Eric Kendricks. If he wanted to be here, I would totally go for that because that would be the perfect fit. But I don't think... Let me take a look at the team. Is there any position that we could use other than receiver? I know receiver is a big need, even though we just won a Super Bowl. Left guard probably is the biggest need other than receiver. Okay, so left guard, receiver, and Tremaine Edmonds is a good player, and he had a good season this year, but he's got freaking 6'7" overall. Minka's a superstar. J.C. Jackson's a superstar. Kenny Clark is now a superstar. So the defensive line is good for one final year. Middle linebacker, just for pure overall reasons. Left guard and wide receiver are the big needs. Eric Kendricks would fit that, but I don't think the 16.7 is going to get it done. It would be our only signing. Let me take a look at the receiver pool. The receiver pool has nobody. The left guard pool has nobody. So I guess if we're going to spend our money, we might as well spend it on Eric Kendricks and just figure it the F out. So we'll pay him that much money, and he's probably not going to sign with us. And he didn't. He picked the Arizona Cardinals. So my dreams were dashed. I couldn't afford anything more than that. It was just simply out of my budget. I could not afford it. So we will move onward and upwards to the NFL draft, the 2019 NFL draft, which has Kyler Murray, Nick Bosa, all the boys you know and love, or maybe not love, depending on what team you're a fan of. And we have our first round pick, which is the final pick of the first round because we just won the Super Bowl. What are we going to use that pick on? It's got to be a receiver, right? It's got to be a receiver. We need to bring in at least 2 receivers in this draft class to help us for the final season. We also need to bring in a guard. And Elton Jenkins and Nate Davis could be the guard for us, so I'm going to scout both of them. And so I'm going to scout Chris Lindstrom as well. We're going to use those guys as our 3 for this recap thing, or this focus player thing. And then for the next one, I'll probably do a couple receivers and maybe a linebacker. I guess we'll see. But we also need to see where mock draft number 5 has everybody going. So private workouts, we will use this on DK, on Debo, and we'll go for a middle linebacker or something linebacker-wise. Probably, who can we get? Okereke we could probably get. and I'll use it on him just to find out. So as long as he's a higher overall than Tremaine Edmonds, then it's good. It'd be an improvement. So mock draft number 5. Clelin Ferrell going number 1 to the Texans. Good luck with that. Kyler going number 4 to the Cardinals. That's funny. Rashawn Gary. Debo's going to go number 9 to the Browns. Haskins, rest in peace, to Cincinnati. Lindstrom going to go to the Saints. Terry's going to go number 23. That's a little weird. Not that he's bad. And then they have us taking DK. So I think that we're just going to stick and pick, I guess. I think that's the best option. I mean, N'Keal Harry, Terry McLaurin, Debo, Marquise Brown, those are the receivers that are ahead of us. I would like Debo, but I don't think we can trade up to get him. Or, I mean, we can, but I don't think we should trade up to get him is what I should say, I guess. So let's advance to the draft. I have a hard time believing that Terry would go in the first round when he's projected round 2 to 3, but maybe the Chargers scouted him all the way and they know how good he is, which we obviously know how good he is. Let's find out where this draft plays out. Number 1 pick is Clelin Ferrell. Good luck with that, Houston. Nick Bosa goes 2 to the Eagles. Burns goes 3 to the Bears. Kyler goes 4 to the Cardinals. Rashawn Gary 5 to the 49ers. Quinnen Williams to the Broncos. Montez Sweat, Ravens. Marquise Brown to Washington. Debo to the Browns. Dwayne Haskins to the Bengals. Ed Oliver to the Jets. Chris Lindstrom to the Saints. Raiders get Hawkinson. Baker to the Titans. Dexter Lawrence, Sexy Dexy to the Vikings. Byron Murphy to the Bucks. The Seahawks take N'Keal Harry. Thank you for that. Cody Ford to the Colts. Devin Bush goes to the Giants. Bills take Daniel Jones. Patriots, you hit on Josh Allen. They got Sean Murphy-Bunting. I'm not mad at that. That's a solid pick. Garrett Bradbury to the Rams, and this is where Terry McLaurin was projected. Will he go? He does. Okay. I mean, it's not a bad pick because he's an amazing player, but he was projected to go round 2 to 3. Interesting. Irv Smith goes to Dallas. Andy Isabella goes to Carolina. Jonathan Abram to Jacksonville. Devin White to Miami. Jeffrey Simmons to Green Bay. Christian Wilkins to Kansas City. And J.J. Arcega-Whiteside to the Steelers. So we are up now. There's some very good players on this board, including Josh Jacobs, including Josh Allen. The athletic Josh Allen. But we are in the market for a receiver. A.J. Brown and DK Metcalf are both on the board. I'm going to take A.J. Brown first. And then we'll see what happens in the second round. Josh Allen goes next. Jelani Tavai, Jawan Taylor, Jerry Tillery, Mecole Hardman, Josh Jacobs to Denver. Jonah Williams, Tristan Hill, Ja'Kai Polite. I didn't mean to do that. Let's see. Eric McCoy to Cincinnati. Paris Campbell to New York. Dalton Reisner. Miles Sanders. Drew Lock to Tennessee. Greedy Williams, Minnesota. Bryce Love. Jermaine Pratt. Noah Fant. Rock Ya-Sin. Michael Dieter. Deontay Johnson to New England. I don't hate that. Taylor Rapp. Jalen Ferguson. David Montgomery to the Lions. Look at that. Bobby Okereke. Oh, that sucks. Kalen Saunders, Darrell Henderson, DK to Miami. Just a few picks away. He was round 3 to 4, and then Elton goes the pick before us. Ugh! Everybody's getting picked that I wanted. So round 2, I feel like it has to be. I don't even know. I mean, everybody here is late round. Maybe we take Caleb McGarry? I guess. I'll take Caleb McGarry. I mean, he's not going to play very well for us. I was banking on the fact that we could get both DK and A.J. Brown, but we didn't get that. Third round pick. Who's on our board? Our board is, I guess, Dre Greenlaw. It's going to be Dre Greenlaw. Welcome aboard, late bloomer Dre Greenlaw. That's going to be a big one in the future, but not right now. Fourth round. I guess if Jamel Dean's there, but I doubt it. Oh, he is. Him and Amani Oruwariye are the only ones left. So I'll take Jamel Dean, and then I'll just simulate the rest. It really doesn't matter at that point. We got a receiver, which was a big need. We didn't really get the left guard that I wanted. I was hoping that Elton Jenkins or anybody, Nate Davis, I guess, would have been okay, but I guess Levitre is going to be good for one final season. It's not the end of the world. So draft recap, we ended up getting 75 overall A.J. Brown, but then everybody else is kind of a low overall. That's fine. Best players in the class are Quinnen Williams at 81, Marquise Brown at 80, Ed Oliver at 79, Bosa at 78, DK's right up there at 77. So we got the best receiver, which is nice. Or not the best receiver. We didn't get DK. We got A.J. Brown. We got one of the best receivers. I can't believe that Miami took him like that. He was round 3 to 4, and they took him. It's the same thing with Terry. You can't predict these things. These things are crazy. Let's go to the lineup, adjust it for one final season. We add A.J. Brown in there, and you know what? He's going to be the number 2 receiver. Why not? We got 4 receivers that are decent, plus James Washington's down there too, who's good. We got 2 good running backs. We got a good enough offensive line because they moved Quentin Nelson over to left guard. I guess that's fine. Whatever. It was going to be rough either way, so it doesn't matter. Matt Ryan for one final season. And then on defense, Tremaine Edmonds is going to have to hold it down, but he had a good year, so I guess he'll be able to do it. Corners are looking good. Defensive line's looking good. Safeties are looking good. We got one run in us to win a second championship. Let's go see if we can do it. The final season has wrapped up, and we went 14-3. That, unfortunately, was not good enough to get the number 1 seed in the conference for some strange reason. I guess there was a team out there that absolutely dominated or whatever. They're not the Atlanta Falcons. We went 14-3, got the 2 seed, I'm guessing, and have to go through the wild card now. Whatever. Don't care. Matt Ryan had a good year. 4,400 yards, 26 touchdowns, 5 picks. And that's pretty solid. He did have a new weapon in A.J. Brown. 1,400 yards for Devontae Freeman, but no touchdowns. No touchdowns for Tevin Coleman. 8 rushing touchdowns for Matt Ryan. What kind of backwards, sideways, alternate reality am I living in? Where Matt Ryan, Matty Ice, the what of all whats, is 8 rushing touchdowns. That must have been all tush pushes. I don't know what that was. Julio Jones had 1,200 yards, 12 touchdowns. A.J. Brown, rookie year, 1,100 yards, 6 touchdowns. Eifert, pretty good year as well. Just a weird season in terms of stats. Deion Jones, 164 tackles. Campbell had 97. 91 for Trufant, 87 for Clark. Tackle for loss there was Clark with 16. 12 for Alec James, of all people. 11 for Campbell. 8 for Upshaw. And then Kenny Clark led the team with 12.5 sacks. It was a really smart idea to trade for Kenny Clark. I will tell you that much. Thank you, Juice. That was a good idea. Good job. Campbell had 8 sacks. So did Duke Riley. 4.5 for James. Alec James had a killer year. J.C. Jackson, 5 picks. Alfred had 4. 3 for Allen. 1 for a couple other guys. So we now move to the NFC wildcard against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And we will win. 24-16 over the Bucs. We play the Cowboys, who we played in the divisional round last year, I think, right? Yeah, last year I think it was. So we'll see how this goes. Can we defend our championship? Who the heck knows? But we're going to find out right now as the Falcons and the Cowboys play in front of the millions and millions of fans. Are we going to win? We do. We take on the team that beat us, or the team that had the better record than us, the LA Rams, who sit at 15-2, had quite the year, but on paper, we are clearly the better team. Clearly the better team. It'll be Chiefs and Chargers in the AFC title game, and then it's Rams and Falcons in the NFC Championship. This one is going to be probably the most difficult one we've ever had. The Steeler game in the Super Bowl was pretty tough, but I doubt this is going to be easy. We lose 31-15. We couldn't defend our championship, but hey, 2 straight NFC title games and a Super Bowl championship for Matt Ryan and Julio Jones, which was the entire goal of this video in the first place. We got them their championships. Rams and Chiefs. Who's going to get it done? Who's going to get it done? It will be the Kansas City Chiefs. Did you have any doubt? Did you have any singular doubt in your mind that the Kansas City Chiefs were not going to win that championship? It's the Chiefs. It's like it's coded in Madden's deep down in the dark crevasses of Madden that the Chiefs need to win Super Bowls, even when Patrick Mahomes is not the quarterback, because Alex Smith is the quarterback of this Chiefs team. He gets Super Bowl MVP and League MVP. We get Coach of the Year again. Kareem Hunt sweeps the board 3 straight Offensive Players of the Year. Christian Jones, linebacker for the Bears, gets Defensive Player of the Year. Kyler Murray and Nick Bosa are your rookies of the year, offensive, defensive, respectively. So let's take one final look at this Falcons team and bask in the glory of getting Matt Ryan and Julio Jones their championships. So we didn't change this team much at all. We added Quentin Nelson, we added A.J. Brown, we added Tyler Eifert, and then on defense we added Tremaine Edmonds, Minkah Fitzpatrick, Kenny Clark, and J.C. Jackson. That is literally everybody that we added that started. And J.J. Watt, I guess, if you want to count J.J. Watt. But that was the entire goal that I wanted to do. I wanted to win a championship with Julio Jones and Matt Ryan on the team. We did that. As starters, we did that. And I didn't change the team too much. We added a few pieces here and there, but for the most part, we kept the team exactly how it was and performed pretty well. So this was a good team. This was a fun rebuild. Matt Ryan got a championship. He's now a Super Bowl winner. He's no longer known as a choke artist. Julio Jones has got himself a title as well. He's now guaranteed himself a Hall of Fame spot, even though he's probably already guaranteed himself a Hall of Fame spot regardless. And we will move on to the next rebuild. If you guys have any suggestions, leave them down below in the comments of any of my videos, but this one too. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you for the shout out, or for the, not the shout out, I'm shouting you out now. Thank you for the suggestion for whoever suggested. I forget your name, I apologize, but you know who you are. You suggested this video. Here it is. We got the championship. Matt Ryan, Julio Jones now have Super Bowl rings. So that's a nice one to end it on. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, leave it a like, subscribe to the channel, join the Juice Club. Thank you so much for stopping by and watching. I truly appreciate it. And I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.